everyone, it's Melissa, and today I wanted to share with you all of the books I added to my TBR during the month of September. Amanda from the Curly Reader does this every month, and they're one of my favorite videos of hers to watch. So I thought that I would do something similar where I just share with you all of the books that have got me excited to read them, that I've heard about and added to my TBR in the month of September. You will notice there's a lot of kind of spooky reads, horror reads, fantasy, fairy tale-esque type things. As I was going into autumn, those were kind of the books that were piquing my interest. So please bear with me. I'm going to have to read my notes because these are all very fresh books to me and I don't know a whole lot about them. I also moved a lot of stuff onto my to be read on Goodreads that I'm not including because they didn't, because I didn't hear about them this month. I had moved over things from my Audible wish list that were already there previously to my Goodreads list because I ended up canceling my Audible subscription because I wasn't listening to enough books. That's all very boring. Let's move on. So the first book is The Witches of Brooklyn by Sophie Escabasse. It's a middle grade, I want to say. I think this one's a middle grade, I can't remember. But it's about a girl who has lost her mom and has to go live with her two strange aunts, who I assume are witches based on the title. And like I said, I was just starting to feel like spooky reads, and this seemed like a nice little light-hearted, witchy read that could counteract perhaps maybe more intense horror. Also, this is a graphic novel, and I am trying to read graphic novels more consistently. So the second book I've added to my TBR is Lost Boy, The True Story of Captain Hook by Christina Henry. So this is like a Peter Pan, the origin story of Captain Hook. I love retellings or fairy tale adjacent type of books. And I also love Peter Pan. It's one of my favorite books. I think it's just brilliant. So this one really piqued my interest. It sounds very kind of like dark and fantastical, which always makes me think of Halloween. So this would be something that I'll probably read maybe next year because my dock is kind of full for this October. The next book is D, A Tale of Two Worlds by Michel Faber. It's a middle grade book with some magic. The letter D goes missing, I guess, and the main character goes on a quest to find it and has to go into another world to do that. There are a lot of fun, I guess, like literary references, nods to Dickens, to Alice in Wonderland. I heard about this from Jen Campbell. She talked about it in a couple videos and then recently had a chat with the author. I will maybe link that somewhere, but it just sounded like a really fun middle grade. The next book is Wicked, The Life and Times of the Wicked Witch of the West by Gregory Maguire. So this is obviously based on the Wizard of Oz book, but this is the origin tale of the Wicked Witch of the West. It's the book that the musical is based on, but apparently the book is very different from the musical. I love anything with kind of like a magical or fairy tale element, and again, I love retellings or like origin stories and that kind of thing. I heard about this from Lena Norms. She's doing this series where she's going through her bookshelf color by color, and she talked recently about green books on her shelf, and then she really went on this whole tangent about this book. Seems there are good discussions to be held about feminism and maybe like counterculture in this book, so hey, I'm all for it. The next book is A Place Called Perfect by Helena Duggan, and yet another middle grade with magical elements. In this book, a girl moves to a town called Perfect where everything is perfect except that everyone there, when you're there, you're blind unless you're wearing like these special glasses. And the main character's father goes missing, and so I'm assuming there's like a mystery, a whimsical mystery perhaps, to solve. It sounds also like a little bit creepy, And I forget who talked about this book, but someone has talked about this book recently. If I can remember, I will link their channel. If not, I'm sorry. I think next time I'm going to do a better job of like keeping track of where I'm hearing about stuff. The next book on my list is Dapper Dan, Made in Harlem by Daniel R. Day. So this is a memoir about Dapper Dan, who is kind of like, not a stylist, but like a, what do you call that? You know, fashion designer. So it's his memoir of making like high-end streetwear. So it talks about like when he started with like a small little modest shop and how he worked his way up to like dressing celebrities. I often really enjoy a good memoir. I know nothing about fashion whatsoever, and I'm not really like into fashion, but I find it absolutely fascinating. I love Project Runway, so I just, when I heard about this, I immediately put it on my TBR. And again, I forget who recommended it, but someone recommended it as a good memoir. And the last book that I've added to my TBR in September is This Place, 150 Years Retold. This is a graphic anthology of Indigenous stories, or more so like Indigenous like histories. And I heard about this book from Danny from, what's her channel's name? Thunder Woman Reads, I think. I will list, or a link or something, the video that she, where she talks about this book, but she showed some of the illustrations and they look just absolutely gorgeous. And I do want to learn a lot more about Indigenous history because we do an absolutely crap job in Canada teaching that. And what we do learn is very much through the white lens. So I would like, I think I would really like this kind of like own voices anthology of these different stories. And again, I want to incorporate more graphic novels into my reading. And Danny also said that the book includes like a timeline to help give some framework as to the events in these stories. It just sounds like something that I'm really, really going to enjoy. And I've never read a graphic novel history, so it just sounds really, really interesting. So those were all of the books that made it onto my TBR in September. Please let me know if you've read any of them and what you thought of them. And thanks, as always, so much for watching, and we'll talk soon. Take care. Bye.